everyone. Welcome back to the She Leads Local podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by Brick City Food Tours, where you will uncover a vast spectrum of cooking styles in Ocala's historic district. Your guided Brick City Food Tour visits 5 tasting locations in the downtown neighborhood. Between samples, your informative guide will share their experience of local customs, historic stories, and specialty shops. This private walking tour is ideal for Ocala residents and travelers eager to discover the culinary secrets and traditions that compose the horse capital of the world. Whether you're vacationing in Ocala for the first time or a longtime resident, you're sure to walk away with a greater understanding of the geographic history and culinary techniques of the city. So pull up a seat to the table. You're welcome here. Today, we are actually also going to have the founder of Brick City Food Tours as our guest. Welcome, Kaitlyn Wilson-Butler.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. So I will just give a little quick intro of Kaitlyn. She is the owner of Brick City Food Tours, which is a downtown Ocala food tour. She's lived in Ocala for a decade, and through her work with nonprofits and artists, has come to appreciate the downtown food scene as well as the history that surrounds it. She is passionate about sharing the unique cuisines crafted by talented local chefs that make Ocala's downtown eateries worth exploring. So, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Wow, thank you. Can you intro me every door I enter through? That would be lovely.
Yeah. I should just have that as a recording and play it when you walk through the door.
Yes, that. And applause. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about how you started this company.
Yeah, so I grew up nearby. My family, my dad's side of the family is fourth generation Ocalan. So after I graduated from college at UF, I moved to Ocala. And was working for a while at the Riley Arts Center. I kind of bounced around different industries, but loved working at the Riley and got to know a lot of the artists, the food scene and the art scene is very interconnected here.
Yes.
And so I had relationships built there. I did a little hiatus and moved to Chicago for a bit. And while I was there, I went on a food tour. It was one of the last weekends that I was in Chicago. And I just remember thinking, I wish I would have done this sooner. I only spent 6 months in Chicago. I absolutely hated it. And it was no fault of the city. No fault of the city at all. I moved there the first day of a blizzard.
Yeah.
And it did not stop snowing the entire time I lived there. The day I moved home, actually, it stopped snowing. And I would go to work in the dark. I would be in the city all day, come home in the dark.
Yeah. And
I just had no community. And I didn't realize how special Ocala was in that way, that there's so much community. People really want to make you feel welcome. And I just didn't understand the culture of the city. So going to that food tour, I just thought, wow, I would have felt so much more connected to this place had I experienced it in the beginning.
Right.
So moving home, I started thinking about different experiences that are offered for visitors and for people who are longtime residents. And there's the obvious things like Silver Spring State Park, World Equestrian Center. Downtown is really fun to, walk around and do the shopping. But as far as the food goes, there's wonderful restaurants. But even when I first started this, my dad came on the tour in the beginning, and it was the first time he had ever eaten in downtown Ocala.
And he lived here.
He grew up here.
His whole life. Yeah.
His entire life. He'd been going to chains.
There's so many people. He's not the only one.
Right. Yeah. And it just is so
because
fun.
Some people can get just stuck in going to the nearest chain restaurant or just.
Totally. I mean, I love Carrabba's just as much as the next person. I'm not mad at it.
I'm an Olive Garden girly.
Same.
We know.
OG. but it really, it takes intentionality. And the cool thing about this experience is that I'm introducing you to a bunch of different restaurants. We do tasting samples from the chefs. They set the menu each week. So it could be something that's on the menu that they want to spotlight, or it could be something that is off menu that they are trying recipe testing. And so I ask people to keep an open mind when they're coming into it. This is definitely for adventurous eaters, not too far out of the realm, but it's so much fun for the culinary lover, but also there's the historic level too, where we're getting education about the city's culture and the history. There's so much history in downtown Ocala, and even people who have lived here for years, they'll come on the tour and they say, I had no idea that was in our backyard.
Right.
So it's just a fun, interactive way to get outside, spend time with people. And it all comes back to community and community building. And
Yes.
people want to feel like they belong. And that's how you get there.
Yes. I think just all people, you feel like you belong when you're at a table sharing meals together. I've been on the food tour twice, at least twice.
Yeah.
And the first time, I had no idea about a lot of the history components, which it's really neat to hear about when you're walking around downtown and you point out the buildings and you tell a story of the history. So it's really neat to hear from our little town what.
Yeah.
I also would not describe myself as an adventurous eater at all. You call me very picky. And I like the food tour because it forced me to try things that I would not have ordered myself.
Right.
Especially the ones that, like you said, sometimes it's not even on the menu. And I find out I actually do like something that I wouldn't have tried before. So it's definitely for everybody.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, we're best friends. I think opposites attract. I'm very adventurous eater, and you typically will order a quesadilla.
There's no quesadillas on the food tour.
Not this week.
No, but I still liked it. Yes. So if somebody only knew about the successful parts of your business and your story, what part of the journey are they missing?
Oh, so much.
Oh,
yes. Well, I went through a very large life change a few years ago. The disillusion of my marriage and what I thought my life was going to look like. You grow up your whole life thinking, and I'm type A. I've planned my whole life to a T.
She's a planner.
I make pros and cons lists and to-do lists, and I like to check things off. And so I had this idea of what my life was going to look like, and then felt like overnight that was gone. And so it took me a long time, and thank goodness for therapy. I'm going to plug therapy for a minute.
100%.
Yes. To rediscover what does my dreams look like anymore. For a while I sat there and I thought, I don't even know what to dream anymore. The dream for my life is gone. And it took a lot of self-discovery and trying new things and trying new hobbies and meeting new people to get to a place where I really feel more like myself than I've ever felt in my life. We all go through different seasons of life, but I feel like I'm on the other side of that journey now, and I have so much appreciation for what I walked through because, one, I'm able to share that story with others who might be going through something similar, and just be able to provide a glimpse into what could be. I always talk about looking for the glimmers in life.
Yes.
Even through those darkest moments,
right,
there were good things happening. There was goodness all around me. You just have to take the moment to seek it out.
And I think that's true about the city we live in Ocala. I think when I moved here, I really didn't like it, but I didn't take the time to look around. And part of that was the job I was in. I didn't really have time or energy. So becoming a photographer, a business owner has also allowed me to just look up, and there's so many good things. There's so much going on. So I really love that.
Yeah.
What is something that people assume about you that isn't actually true?
They think I do it all. I hear it all the time. Yeah. I mean, I do a lot. I do a lot.
Yes. You had you wanted to talk about a glass ball theory.
Yes.
What is that?
So, and some people might not know this. I am the founder, owner, operator of Brick City Food Tours. I also have a career in communications. I work in corporate communications,
Mm-hmm.
which is crisis communications, event planning and hosting, media relations. I like to say that I go to fun parties and wear pretty dresses for a living and give away other people's money and support nonprofits here in town. And I also get to tell stories. I'm a storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got both of those things going on. I'm a mom of a 5-year-old who is the light of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's just taken refinement to figure out what is important to me. In this season of life, um, there's no such thing as balance. I don't believe in balance.
Yeah.
There's always going to be things that are, being dropped along the way. But I heard a few years ago this theory, it's the glass balls theory, and it talks about how everything in your life, you think of everything in your life as a ball, right? There are some balls that are rubber and they're going to bounce right back to you. You can drop them, they're going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
There are some balls that are glass and they are going to shatter if you drop those things.
Okay.
So you've got to figure out what your glass balls and
Yeah.
your rubber balls are and be able to prioritize appropriately. And that's going to change through every season of life. But I feel like at this point in my life, the most important thing is having that flexibility to be able to, be there for my daughter if she has, a recital or something going on at school, be able to fill my own cup with friends and
Mm-hmm.
family and show up for the people in my life. And of course, I love my career and my business and being able to funnel energy into those as well.
Awesome. And I think even daily we do have to choose which is the glass ball today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you choose wrong and
Yeah,
but we learn as we go.
that's right.
What so we talked about how balance doesn't really exist.
hmm
Um do you have another word instead of balance, or what is, what does that look for you right now?
Yeah, I mean, right now it looks like prioritizing my own wellness. I became a mother. Um, it was very different than what I thought it was going to be.
Sure.
You live your whole life and you're like, oh, I'm going to be a mom. It's going to be beautiful. We're going to take these cute pictures together in sunflower fields. And we do
Which
that.
sometimes we
We
do,
do that.
but not every
But
day.
there's also, I felt, and not everybody's experienced this, but I felt a huge shift in identity. I
Right.
I became somebody's everything.
Mhm.
And I will say that I lost myself for a
Mhm.
little bit in motherhood and it
It's
takes
hard not to.
yeah, it really takes intentionality and I felt guilty for a long time for,
Yeah.
if I needed to go to the gym to, move my body and feel better, I felt guilty about leaving her with somebody else or
Right.
taking that time away from her. But through the years I've just realized that you can't pour from an empty cup and your child does not need um to have you present there all the time.
Mhm.
They need to have relationships outside of you. That's actually very healthy. Um, and they need to see you and your success story as well. So many times I've, heard people say, or even in my own life, we didn't see the behind the scenes of our parents, right? They maybe they didn't fight in front of you or maybe they were career driven but they never took you to work or they didn't talk about finances in front of you. I think it's really important for you to bring your kids along for the ride.
Yeah.
For them to see your struggles and to see conflict resolution and see, my mom is building this business or she's fostering these relationships. And, I hosted a garden party in my yard and invited all my girlfriends over. And she got to see that and see, oh, my mom is pouring into her community. We talk about community a lot. Um, and everybody wants a village, but they don't always want to be a villager.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes. That is so true. Um I moved here. The only person I knew was my husband, who was my
Mhm.
fiance at the time. We didn't know anybody. So, no village, no family. We still don't have any family here. So, I had to create my own, which takes a lot of work, a lot of intention
Mhm.
that You're right. Most people, they want that group, but you have to be a friend to have friends.
Totally.
So, yeah, that's definitely something that I learned in motherhood, but also just in life and as a small business owner. I think, this community, we are kind of each other's village, which I
Hmm.
love.
Yeah. And that takes, also boundaries.
Yes.
You've got to figure out, I'm building a life that I want to be proud of. I like
Mhm.
to say I'm building my dream life, I'm curating my dream life. And that takes intentionality of choosing people who are going to be in your corner. Um, and that's, I think some people think of that as like, oh, well, you're picking, um, maybe like the wealthiest person in the room or the most influential or whatever. I don't see it that way. It's about energy. I'm selecting friends who are, uplifting.
Mhm.
I it irks me when I hear friends who have relationships with people who they, instead of filling your cup, they're poking a hole in the bottom.
Right.
So not a
Draining.
they're draining you.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so,
We don't have
who
time for
you
that.
right, who you surround yourself with matters. And
Yeah.
are you surrounding with yourself with people who are pushing you to drive yourself on this journey? Are you with people who, when you get sick, are going to make you soup and drop it off at your door and be part of that village with you? Um, I haven't gotten a fight with you in our entire friendship. It's going on, what, almost a decade.
Mhm.
And I can't imagine, having friendships that have so much strife that you can't even have open dialogue and communication. So it
For
really
sure.
takes creating boundaries, um, and
Yeah.
choosing who you're investing your time in.
So, what would you say success looks like in this season of your life?
Mm. Right now,
Yes.
it looks like spending time and pouring into my community.
Uh-huh.
My daughter first,
Mhm.
she's everything to me. So making sure that I'm intentionally prioritizing her. Um, it's, spending time with family. I'm very, very fortunate to have a great relationship with my parents, and they are ever present in my life and my daughter's life. Friends as well, taking time to pursue hobbies. I'm learning a lot of things this year.
Yes.
I
So fun.
picked up tennis, and it's not fun to be bad at something first, but it's like stretching
Yeah.
that muscle a little bit.
Well,
So
you are competitive.
very competitive. Very competitive, yes, and that's why I think I like mahjong too.
Yes.
Very strategic,
Yep.
competitive. Challenge yourself.
Yes. I think
So
it's the year that we all take up the old lady hobbies.
a
We're
hundred
realizing that they were right
percent,
about something.
they were. I'm happiest when I'm spending time in my garden
Yep.
and reading a book.
Reading books, playing mahjong and tennis and pickleball. Yep. Love it. Um, what is something that women need to stop apologizing for, would you say?
So many things. So
Yes.
many things. Um, I mean, I would go back to the boundary setting thing first. I feel like people think that they deserve access to women all the time. And I would
Right.
challenge that to say, F politeness a little bit. Um, you,
Yeah, and just because with technology and you're on your
yeah,
phone, but does that mean that somebody needs access to you 24/7? No.
absolutely not. No. Um, we live in an online world,
Mhm.
but as you know, I don't usually reply to texts right away. I don't post anything in the moment.
Mhm.
One, for safety reasons, but
Yeah.
also just being able to
Be
relish and
present.
live in that moment. Yeah, be
Mhm.
really present. Um, but it just is back to that idea of creating boundaries and making space for the people who are important to you. Um,
Yeah. I
yeah,
That's definitely a lesson I've had to learn um over the past probably 10 years. I've really because you're not really taught that as a little girl.
totally. Not at all.
You're kind of expected to be always polite and nice to everybody and say yes and don't disappoint people. But that can cause a lot of harm to yourself.
And two things can be true at once, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I always think about Powerpuff Girls. And, what was her name? Buttercup,
I think
right?
so.
She was so cute on the
Right.
outside, but she was so full of rage. And you can
Is
you
that
can
you?
a little bit. You can be upset
Mm-hmm.
or have a reaction to things that are happening around you, but you can also self-regulate and
Yes.
choose to be kind to others.
Yeah.
Just because they're giving you some kind of energy does not mean that you have to receive that and filter it back. You
Yeah.
can take the time to take a breath. I like to say to my daughter, all right, go ahead and blow out my candle.
Yeah.
And just that regulation helps, you know?
Right. Which is in business, in work life, in motherhood, especially for sure. We can
Yeah.
use that with all kinds of relationships. I love that. Um, what is one thing that you feel like you have done really well at in your business, or maybe a tip that you could share with other small business owners?
Oh, community, 100%.
Uh-huh.
My business relies on community. I
Yeah.
don't have a business if I don't have relationships with restaurants and business
True.
owners.
Yeah.
So, I got started because I became friends with Albert at Stella's, and I told him this idea I had for a business, and he said, "Well, I'm just going to introduce you to everybody then." So
Oh.
he took me to the first meeting to meet with one of his, fellow chefs,
Mm-hmm.
and from there it snowballed because once they
Yeah.
heard Albert was on board and Dimitri was on board, well, we want to be on board now.
Yeah.
So it's just relationship building, continually investing in those. I honestly don't really eat anywhere other than downtown. So
Yeah. Right. And
yeah,
this isn't something that you started when you had this idea for a business. You were already doing that. You were
absolutely.
already supporting local, eating local downtown. You already had relationships with the restaurant owners and
Hmm.
people in community. So it was a natural, I think, step.
Yeah, I mean, I sit on the board for Ocala Main Street. I
Hmm.
am deeply invested in the prosperity of downtown Ocala, Midtown, and
Yes.
Tuscaloosa.
Same.
And I mean, I do all my shopping downtown. I have a lot of relationships with the business owners here, and it makes a difference to be present in your community. So many times I hear people complaining about
Yes.
Ocala or different businesses that are starting or this, that, and the other. And I always say, well, what are you doing? Because if you're not going to city council meetings and you're
Hmm.
not sitting in the meetings for, they have classes and community panels where they ask for feedback from the
Hmm.
community, or you're not serving on a board that's helping, um, then what do you have to complain about? We don't all like the gas stations, but I like a clean car. So we have to make space and support those businesses once they're here.
Right. Yes. Especially in these economic times, I think becoming a business owner myself made me realize just how important it is to support other small businesses and
Hmm.
just think twice before if you need something, when you can, if you can just think, oh, maybe I can get that from somewhere local or try there first before
Hmm.
going to a big box store. Um, And then you're supporting a real person, not just some,
Yeah, I
big.
mean, you're paying their daughter's dance recital fee.
Right.
You're feeding their dream. You're keeping their lights on. Like, it makes a difference. Target
Yes.
is not going to miss your dollar. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
But the local businesses here rely on us supporting them. And I always like to say, if you like the fun things that are here, you've got to support them.
Yeah.
You know?
Because they can't stay if people don't support them. And that doesn't mean you have to spend money. It can mean just sharing their posts on social media or just
100%.
telling somebody about it, recommending a place. It's not just about money. Because that's hard.
I
But
agree. People used to call it slow cala.
yeah.
And I could not disagree more.
Especially
We
now.
no,
I haven't heard that as much in a while, thankfully, but it still
no.
pops up here and there, and I'm just like, all right, well, you haven't tried it all.
I read a statistic this morning. It said that Ocala is the second fastest growing city
Yeah.
in Florida. I think it was right behind
Wow.
Boca. Yeah, it
Boca.
was Boca, Ocala, and the
Oh my gosh.
villages.
Of course.
Of
Yeah.
course, the villages. But there's so much to do. And if you are invested in community and you're looking for things to do, there's resources. Ocala Main Street has a website. You can go and look what's going on there. There's things to do. Ocala, Mosaic is always posting things as well. So there's a lot to do. But we're never bored. So
No,
there's always something to do.
that's true. And even if you don't live here, wherever you're listening from, this applies. Try to support your local community, your local businesses,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes your life richer.
It really
does.
does.
And you can kind of get more cultured within your own, town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's so important. So the last question I have, it wasn't on our list, sorry,
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't even know if it's a question, but I heard somewhere that when women succeed, it is so important because women statistically are more likely to give back and invest in their community, in charities, in other people and other women. When women win, everybody wins.
Mhm.
Do you think that's true?
Absolutely. How could it not be true? We are the decision makers of the household.
Yes, and I think it's been said that women are primarily the financial decision makers in the house. Like we're the ones who have the most spending power
Mhm.
or influence.
I'm going to sit crooked and talk straight.
Oh.
My background is in marketing and communications, and that is 100%
Yeah.
true. When we market to women.
Uh-huh.
They make up the decision makers of the
Yeah.
household. And this goes back to early advertising in, the 50s and 60s. Like if you watch Mad Men, they're marketing to women because they're the ones purchasing Dawn soap. They're the ones bringing in the things that come into their home. I always joke, I'm a really good hunter gatherer. I bring everything in, and I make the decisions on what's
Yeah.
purchased. And even before I was independent, that was still the case.
Right.
My mom also.
Yeah.
I always joke, if the man is the head of the house, the woman is the neck. He cannot turn without her.
Yeah.
And so it really is true. And, you talked about giving back to charities too. That's a lot of the work that I do in my career
Yes.
is charity work, nonprofit work, supporting them.
Do you find it
And-
to be that it's more women who are involved?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, there are outliers, of course,
Yeah.
but it is a lot of women because they're seeing what's happening in their neighborhoods and they want to make a difference. And I think innately women are nurturers and they see a problem and they want to fix it.
Right.
And so that's where you see that coming from, I think. But you see a lot of that, and it's really fun too. We get to go to
Yeah.
galas and dress up and have pretty dresses, but we're making a difference. And that's the biggest thing too, is that, when women get involved, difference is made.
Wow. Powerful. Well, I think we're going to end on that. Love it. Awesome. Thank you for coming today. And where can people find you, find your business if they want to learn more?
I am online at brickcityfoodtours.org. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. And if you have any questions, just DM me. I'm happy to have a conversation about what there is to do here in Ocala and any
Yeah.
questions they have about local businesses.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right.